It was up 6.5 here, and today we're going to be looking at 5 Waves vocal plugins that gives quick results. And they are in no particular order or no particular tier. They just work, and this is mainly catered to those who are beginning or those who just interested in finding out what they are as a refresher course or whatever. And the first we're looking at is Vocal Rider, one of the game changers in especially the mixing community. Waves would have brought this out in the early 2000s. Yeah, early 2000s, and this was from Waves 9, I think, or 8, I could be wrong. And yeah, so what it is, it rides the volume of the signal. It's not a compressor, whereas if it goes down, if the threshold is crossed, that it would bring down the volume and bring down the loud volume and bring up the the soft the soft part of the signal. It's not that. This brings down the whole signal because it's riding the volume. It's not a compressor. Even though some people would debate it can be a compressor or it is, I don't think so, and I don't think the manual says so either. But it rides the volume is a easy way to record vocals without having to do too much automation, unnecessary automation, depending on what that looks like to a person. So what I'm going to do is show and tell. So right, this is a vocal here. I got it looped. Mind you, these are demos, huh? These are demos. So I'm just letting you know. Okay, so let's go. Bam.
Simple words and the promises that you heard. I don't care.
All right, as you can see, when it crosses this threshold here, these are the parameters here. This isn't a tutorial per se, but hopefully someone who's starting, it will be easy for them to navigate around it. Huh? It's a pretty old plugin, but still, every day somebody new getting into the mixing game. But this, you don't have to learn, what mixing is and what volume is and blah blah. You just smack it on, and if you're fiddling around or playing around, or you just want something fast, yeah, this is where you go to. So having said that, these are the 2 thresholds here. I'm not reading off any manual or anything, but these are, we call it ranges right here, or you can see the thresholds, because when you do this, well, they are not going to go between, they're not going to go outside of these ranges here at these of the volume here. And you can say that this is more like the threshold, the target, whereas it's when it passes this red line here, that's when it starts to go up and down. But it's not going to pass here, this line here, or here, this other line here, which is called the ranges, right? You don't have to really touch this over here, unless, well, you want to, but this is the focal point here. So I'm going to play it again.
Simple words and the promises that you heard.
Okay, so what you're seeing is that when it passes the threshold, it's the program is saying, okay, you gotta go down, you gotta turn on the volume. But this here is saying, yes, you could turn on, but it's not, you're not going to go past here, because the master, the human master who is operating me, doesn't want it to go down any lower than here or go past here, right? So that's basically it. So you don't have to do a lot of automation if you don't want to with this plugin. But if you want to, that's up to you, and you got to know what you want to do. Like I said, it's not a tutorial, but it's something that is very useful for a beginner, right? All right. So next up, I actually think I'm going to leave that on. Next up is a de-esser. A very important vocal tool to have, and I think, yeah, it's very, very necessary. Okay, show and tell, play.
Simple words and the promises that you heard.
Okay, so beginner knowledge of the Esser is a tool that is used to take out frequencies. Let me see if I can remember this here. This is off the top of my head. Between frequencies between 2 kilohertz, 4 kilohertz, 5 in the 5 kilohertz region, 5 6 4 5 6 kilohertz region, to take out the when you record you and you don't have a de-esser, and depending on your position of your mic, you will hear like all the S's and the T's, that sort of way. And what this does, what the de-esser does, well, it de-esses, it takes out the S's out of the recording, and it gives you a more pleasant sounding vocal. Right now I would have put it on the male S. Let me turn it off and show you what it sounded like. And it's really annoying also when you don't have your stuff S, and it's you could hear it. Anyhow, let's go play.
Simple words and the promises that you
Actually, isn't that bad. It's not really that bad given this is the raw vocal, right? But then now I'm gonna turn it on and play.
simple words and the promises that you always heard. I don't care, just don't let me go. Oh, so much more to these simple words.
All right. Let me give you an example. Because like I said, this is raw. I didn't process this or anything like that. And sometimes if you overdo it, when you overdo it, it sounds like if the person has a lisp, as opposed to sounding natural. Let me see if I could give you an example.
Simple words and the promises that you always heard. I don't care, just don't let me go. Oh, so much more to these simple words and the promises that you.
I know if you would have heard the promise, like it's promises, but if you have it nice and balanced, and the signal when it goes over the threshold is not too, let me see, the frequency that is affecting is 4.5 kilohertz. That's sort of, which would be 4,500 hertz. Attenuation, output attenuation, it basically was being pressed down or suppressed. All right, play again.
Simple words and the promises that you always heard. I don't care, just don't let me go. Oh.
It sounds pretty natural. Actually, what I'm going to do, so it sounds over processed, because before I did this, before I was putting together these plugins, I actually was encountering some problems where it was over processed. Let me see. All right, let me see. Play.
Simple words and the promises that you always heard.
I think I fixed it. I probably fixed it because I actually turned on another software that I'm gonna feature soon, and it sounded horrible, really, really, really bad. Not given this, like I said, this is just a test. This isn't a processor or something that. This is like just something raw that I'm just testing out. So I didn't process it or anything like that, to say, well, this is a mix or whatever. This is just plugins that, bam, give you fast results. Anyhow, so the de-esser is important. So that's 2. Number 3 now is a pretty relatively, well, given the time of the recording is relatively new. And this is the Equator. Now, this is a noise suppressor. So what it does is that, well, not a noise suppressor, sorry, resonant suppressor. My bad. It's a resonant suppressor. Anything that goes over this threshold here, as you can see, this is not a tutorial. Everything that goes over this threshold is going to get suppressed. Any resonances or any annoying frequencies, basically, that affects the sound of the signal, the smoothness of the signal. All right, show and tell, play.
Simple words and the promises that you always heard. more to these simple words and the promises that you heard.
Actually, I don't know if you could hear, like, this has a de-esser in it, and somehow it sounds like it's over processed. You got to be careful with this because, like, for instance, this has a tilt, and if I tilt it too much, it's going to suppress it's going to suppress the signal that is on the high end, and it's going to make the signal sound, especially in the high region, sound very unnatural and very annoying. So just remember that when you're using this plugin. It's a really good plugin, mind you. Full reset, factory presets. All right, de-esser here, put on all. As you can see, like I said, this is what 8 to 12 kilohertz. Okay, my bad. Actually, from 5 to, anyhow, this is what it says, and let's go play.
Simple words and the promises that you
hear it. Promises that you. That's what we're talking about. Over processed it. Let me see. I can't remember. I think it's when you turn it up, it suppresses more. Play.
Simple words and the promises that you
Right down.
heard. I don't care, just don't let me go.
It's only if he has a speech impediment. And that's out of the way. So you don't want it to sound, like that. So right, let me just get rid of that. I just wanted to demonstrate it full. Oh, good. So this gives quick results. This is like part of the cleaning process of the vocals. It is for a lot of different instruments and stuff, but for the vocals, especially for the cleaning part, before you start putting on a lot of spice stuff, a lot of these spices, this is a part of the cleaning stuff. So you would have the vocal writer, which will be writing the levels, and then you would have this here. But I didn't put in the EQ because I think EQ is a given. EQ is a given. And for the beginner, I know for the EQ process is hard to understand, but anyhow, so you have this and then you have this together. Play, bam, play.
Simple words and the promises that you
don't want to over process it, right? Actually, put in the de-esser also. Play.
Simple words and the promises that you heard. I don't care, just don't let me go. Oh, so much more to these simple.
And you're having quick results, subtle and quick. And that's what you want sometimes, especially when you're beginning and thing. And I know this probably is whoever got this far is a refresher course for them. Okay, next we have this. This is still vocal. I'm really not a fan, to be quite honest. It's okay, I guess, but I'm really not a fan of it. It's another like resonant suppressor with a compressor, and this was in a fad. This come out in a fad, a trend. I cannot remember, and they really didn't use it. With the Soothe 2 and stuff like that. It was like, okay, yeah, whatever, but anyhow, so again, another right with the baby audio, smooth operator, and all those different suppressors. Yeah, right. So anyhow, this is just another one. Nothing big, nothing fancy. Okay, so I'm gonna press play. Let me see. Actually, all right, this is a setting that I would have put on beforehand. This is number 4 actually. Whoa, this is probably do some honorable mentions. Anyhow, reducing the boominess in the male vocal. All right, so when I press play,
simple words and the promises that you heard. I don't care, just don't let me go. Oh, so much more to the these simple words and the promises that you
Here when it get over processed, you hear promises. You don't want that in your life, right? So if you want to, you can check this out. So all these are from Waves, mind you. All right. So right, and this is another cleaning one also you could use to clean up your vocals, but you get the quick results that you need with the little adjustments and stuff. When you go too much, it sounds horrible. All right. Next, now actually I'm going to give you two honorable mentions, and this is a little unorthodox. The first one is this. You're like, what the heck you talking about? What? I put it here because, well, sometimes the vocal sounds thin, and this one knob fattener I'm believing is a saturator with a compressor in it, something like. And this is from the one knob series, and yes, it is taboo to mixers to have a one knob because it limits creativity, and you think that you're brain dead. I don't care, but this gives quick results. Let's listen.
simple words and the promises that you always heard. I don't care, just don't let me go. Oh, so much more to these simple words and
the reason why I will put it on, like I said, sometimes the vocals just sound thin. Okay, like for instance, you would EQ your stuff, and then or the vocal might just be thin coming out straight from the recording, and you got to mix it, and it's thin. You don't have a lot of like from 250 and up hertz. Well, for the beginner, just check out your EQ and find out what that is, and it doesn't sound full. It doesn't sound like a natural voice, that sort of way, and you may want to add a little body to it. So this is good for that. So this is an honorable mention. And okay, turn you off. Another honorable mention, and I think this probably is good. It's really good, but makes a taboo. When you go into a mixing session and they're like, "Oh my, like what?" No, this is good. I don't really use it, but I when I was looking for the plugins, I came across this because this is Greg Wells. Greg Wells is a famous mixing engineer who has countless platinum artists under his belt from mixing and stuff, and he would have teamed up with Waves and brought out a series of plugins, and this is one of them. He has one that is mid-centric. Excellent stuff, and this is voice centric now, or vocal, yes, voice centric, and it focuses on the vocals as opposed to the whole mix. I would have just fiddled with it for a bit before coming on, and this is what it sounds like. Bam.
simple words and the promises that you always heard. I don't care, just don't let me go. Oh, so much more to these simple words and the promise.
Alright, so this knob is the sauce right here, and then it has the delay, probably his sauce delay, and then the reverb and stuff. I'm not sure if it ties into the tempo of the song and all that. I don't know, I just know it sounds good. And with that, you know that it would work with any vocal that you throw at it, and you can see how it works for you. It has a doubler. I'm not a fan of the doubler, to be quite honest, but it's supposed to give even more body, as when you hear two voices or whatever slightly in different timing, you would be able to know, well, okay, yeah, you have something thicker. So let me just show you. Play.
Simple words and
you hear it? No, the thing that I don't like about doublers is you can hear the flanging of it because there are two separate times. The signal would have been multiplied, and it would have been to give a certain effect. They're slightly moved out the time. One signal is slightly moved out the time with the other, and it has that effect. But then it has the flanger effect, which no, I don't like. Let me play it again.
Simple words and the promises that you
Right.
heard.
Okay, so I'm figuring that when the more I turn up the knob, the more time goes between the divided signal, right? But anyhow, besides that, it's supposed to be able to thicken the vocal. But for a quick result, this right here, you don't have to add a delay or a reverb, if you want a quick result that sort of way vocally. So you just put on this and that and then press this.
Simple words and the promises that you heard. I don't care, just don't let me go. Oh, so much more to these simple words and the
And it's gold. It's golden. Quick results. You don't need math. You don't need like a physics degree to operate this, right? I think this big knob for like compression and mainly compression to somewhere, and the excitement and I don't know if it's saturation. I'm sure, but anyhow, right. So that's it for the honorable mentions. All right. So now we have this, a classic. I put it on. I was in between actually mines with this and the Greg Wells, but this is more popular, but it's old, but trustworthy. This is more like for rock and stuff. As you can see, the whole aesthetic is about that. And let's go play.
simple words and the promises that you heard. I don't care, just don't let me go. Oh, so much more to these simple words and the promises that you heard. I don't care, just don't let me go. Oh, so much more to these simple words and the promises that you heard. I don't care, just don't let me go. Oh, so much more to these simple words and the promises.
Right, as you can see, I just went through some presets because I didn't really about turning ups. But yeah, it works pretty okay. And yeah, for vocals, depending on the type that you want, yeah. But you would have to still, in my experience with it, you still got to add a couple more or whatever. But for quick results, for the type that you would want, Jack Joseph plugins are pretty decent. All right, I would have just touched. Good. So they're pretty decent. And for the final one, it's not a tutorial. Like I said, this is just to show you 5 good Waves plugins for vocals. And this, the trusty Lord Algae vocals. All right, watch this.
Simple words and the promises that you heard. I don't care, just don't let me go. Oh, so much.
All right, as you can see, got the sub frequency. It has the other things, taking care of things vocally. This really works. Depending, again, it's I believe it's more for rock. I mean, you could use it for any genre, but Chris Laraja, film infamous for rock music and the whole culture around that. So the vocal this year will be more suited for that, right? But like I say, it works for everything else. This is a rock song itself, so play.
Simple words and the promises that you always heard. I don't care, just don't let me go. Oh, so much more to these simple words and the promises that you always heard. I don't care.
Right, so yeah, I mean, these are 5 good vocal plugins that a beginner can use for fast results, and yeah, I think that's about it. There are others and there are combinations that you can use, but for the fastest results, these are the best. Well, no, they're not the best, but they're good choices. That's already the best to me are combinations where you add another compressor or so, or 2 more compressors, and and sometimes honestly from other brands also. Yeah, I'm not sponsored by Waves, by the way, so I mean I can be as open as I would like. So like for I like the oh man, the Gem Overload plugins for vocals. They have a 2-way LA that's excellent that I put on all my vocals. And the Gem it's called the dopamine Gem dopamine, yes. That too I put on my vocals, and yeah, I mean even added to two of the to this, add 2 of them to that, yes. It will bring out the total essence. But anyhow, for beginners, I hope that this helped you, and for anyone who would have watched this and this has added any value to your mixing journey and would have made things easier for you, and you would like to see more product like this, or more tutorials, or more this is not a tutorial, but anyhow, any more videos like this or content like this, just subscribe, and so that you won't miss out on anything, and you will get I'm trying to bring as much value as I can with the resources that I have, so that you also can hit that mark and go further pro radio ready production mixes, whatever. Anyhow, hit that hit the thumbs up if you like the content, and give me a comment, and hit the dislike too if you don't like it. It's alright, and comment good or bad. I believe that feedback is good and critical, and even even trolling is okay. All publicity is good publicity, so they say. But anyhow, though, for those who want more content like this, yeah, just subscribe, and to the next video. 6.5 out.